Sorry, Kiera, that was a lot longer than I had planned on. Really like this set of scriptures because I can take notes in the margin. It makes it a lot easier. I don't have to have like a notebook along with my scriptures. So it just makes it easier, and then I can tie back what I'm reading a lot easier, and sometimes I'll put dates by the notes that I put in the margin, so it makes it really nice. Also with reading the scriptures in the morning, I always try to journal every day as well. I'm not great at it. Not great at reading the scriptures every day either, but I do try to do both in the mornings. And honestly, a lot of the time I fall asleep while I'm reading, and so it takes a lot longer than it needs to. But generally, if I read, I always journal right after as well. And then in my journal, at the beginning of each entry, I put my days of sobriety in there as well. Rosie, how are you doing?
Oh, you're such a good little puppy. Yes, you are. Yes. Hi, puppy.
Look at you, you little vlogger. The first thing that came to my mind was, oh, look at you, you little That can be edited out. Totally a brand sponsor for Nike. Bye. Well, guys, I have not been able to film as much today or like I wanted to. Had some last minute things come up. Anyways, Rosie's sitting here looking super cute. What I wanted to talk today with you guys is just about addiction in general, especially trauma-based addiction. I had a buddy send me a video on YouTube. Did a much better job explaining about how trauma in childhood leads to addictions later on in life. Addiction can be caused by several different things. It can be caused by neglect from parents, abuse, whether that's physical, sexual, verbal, emotional. Any type of abuse can cause trauma. If those things aren't able to be processed and resolved, then you naturally, as a way to protect yourself, you look for a way to hide from those feelings. To numb out is a way that I've heard it described a lot as. And as a kid, I wasn't taught how to process my emotions. I wasn't taught how to healthily go through, process experiences in a way so that I could move on from those experiences. One thing, especially with trauma, whenever the trauma happens, you typically stop moving past that age in your life. So for me, my addiction started when I was 10 or 11, somewhere in there. I had trauma leading up to that, growing up, which led to that addiction, which, part of my brain didn't keep processing. It didn't keep developing past that stage. So whenever I felt, really hard emotions of, like when my wife was going through treatments, how I protected myself was I went back to that kid. I responded to those hard experiences in the way that he would have, because that's what my brain knew. It didn't move past that. Your body will always remember those traumas, those experiences, those triggers around that experience, unless it gets processed. I realized just now that I'm wearing the same shirt and the same hat that I was in my last video. I promise I've not been wearing it all week. It has been washed. Sobriety is important in the recovery journey. However, sobriety is not recovery. There's a big difference between the two. Sobriety is needed for recovery, and so I'm at like 330 something days of sobriety right now. However, I haven't been 330 something days in recovery. The difference between the two is sobriety is just like not doing an action, not drinking alcohol for a certain amount of time, not doing drugs, whatever the addiction is. Mine just happens to be pornography. That's what I was drawn to at a young age because it was pretty available in my house, and I'd been shown it before, when I was younger than 10, and so that's what I was drawn to. Your addiction could be cutting yourself. It could be become an eating disorder. It could be drugs. It could be alcohol. It could be smoking. It could be whatever it is. It could be working out. However, recovery is working on the root cause of the addiction. So processing that trauma. I would also say recovery is developing your emotional IQ. Becoming more in tune with what you're actually feeling instead of, I'm angry. Angry is a secondary emotion. We're angry because of something. A lot of the times when I was angry, I felt lonely. I felt like I wasn't understood, or like I didn't have a voice. And that made me angry. I didn't recognize that until I started really trying to identify that in myself. And no, you're not taught that as a guy. No, nobody teaches guys how to process emotions. So that's something that needs to change. Where's I going with this? I have ADHD. I recently just found out about that, so it's been interesting. Filming schedule for the rest of the day. I have a hot date with my wife, going grocery shopping. Just confirmed it. Also, these were her birthday flowers. Funny story about her birthday flowers. She wanted me to take a picture of her holding them so people could see how big they were. And she was carrying them over closer to me, and I had her phone and was taking a live photo, because she always takes live photos. As she was carrying them over, she stepped and one of them bounced or something, and one of the petals like hit her in the eye. And I got it on the live video, the live photo, and it was so funny because she put it in slow motion. She was like smiling and all happy, and then the flower hit her in the eye, and she's like, whoa. It was the best. Anyways, going grocery shopping, then I'm going to work out and do some, but I do want to carry on the conversation about addiction. Shake. No, sit, lay down. Good girl. Roll over. Oh, good girl. High five. Yeah. Kiara is short, so that makes it so I have to change the squat rack every time I squat. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a rowing and squat workout. So I'm going to row for 8 minutes, do 12 squats at 95 pounds, do that for a while, I don't know how long, and then I'll switch it up, row for 5 minutes, and then squat at 135 for 5 reps, and then from there we'll see how I feel with the weight. And this is more for a cardio session, not strength training. So in total, I'm going to be doing this for 90 minutes, so an hour and a half. Really get a good sweat in. Okay, I don't have my glasses on, but it looks like it's focused on me. So yeah, I talked a lot about addiction, kind of like what trauma-based addiction is, and so just to give you some examples of trauma that I had in my life. In no way am I like trying to bash my parents. They had a lot of things going on in their lives. They both had a lot of trauma, but they're still responsible for how they parented. I still care about my parents. I still care about my family. I'm still working on the forgiveness part of that. I'm trying to forgive them, and I'm not there yet, and that's okay. I need time. There's nothing wrong with taking time with your healing, regardless of how much trauma my own parents had, where, my mom, like I said, had severe depression, anxiety, and probably other things that I didn't know about growing up. With the experiences I had growing up, I learned that it wasn't safe to open up to my parents. I learned that it wasn't safe for me to tell them how I was feeling. There was one experience, and this wasn't my first traumatic experience growing up, but there was an experience I had where I was in high school. I was a sophomore in high school. It was preseason for football. A small town, so not a huge football team. That year we had some really good players. And one of the coaches from varsity came up to me and said, Logan, if you keep working really hard like you have been, if you keep practicing hard, putting in the work, there's a chance that you play some varsity this year. You wouldn't be, just playing varsity, you'd be playing varsity and JV. As a sophomore, I was like, that's awesome, And so I was super excited, come home, really excited to tell my mom. I just wanted to tell my mom that I was, the good news that I could play varsity. And I remember this experience exactly, and my mom was in the kitchen, making dinner. I think she was chopping up some vegetables, and I walked into the kitchen and I was like, Mom, guess what? And she just kind of mumbled something like, what? And I said, my coach said that I might be able to play varsity this year if I keep working hard. And I remember my mom, she didn't even look up, and she said, I don't think you can do it. And just kept chopping vegetables, didn't even slow down. I remember being so angry. I remember just feeling like heartbroken, like what's going on? Like what? I was so confused because I just wanted my mom to be proud of me. I just felt like it didn't matter what I did. I was never going to be enough. That I was never going to be able to do enough for my mom or my dad to be proud of me. I felt like it was impossible, but that's all I wanted. And I just wanted to be able to do something right in their eyes, you know? And I tried so hard. I tried so hard to do that. My senior year in high school, I had talked to an Army recruiter for a while. This is another experience. I've been talking to an Army recruiter. Me and my twin both had. And she ended up joining the Army, and I didn't. You know, I backed out of it at the last minute. It didn't feel right. And then about a month later, I started talking with a Marine recruiter. There we go. Right there. I've been talking with a Marine recruiter, and it's something I was excited about. You know, they have really cool uniforms. You know, the dress blues look sharp, much better than any other branches. It's true. I remember this moment exactly as well. I was in the kitchen, I was doing dishes or something, cleaning up, and my dad walked in. My dad didn't really talk to me much about my plans after high school. He didn't talk to me much about what I wanted. And so he was like, you know, Logan, do you think you're gonna join the Marines? And I remember me saying, yeah, I think that's something I want to do. And I remember my dad taking a drink of water. We had these plastic red cups, you know, not red Solo cups, but just plastic red cups. After I said, yeah, I think that's what I want to do. He finished taking his drink, and he was looking out the window. I don't think he looked at me, and he said, I don't think you can do it. I was so angry again, you know, like I just remember being so angry because my dad didn't believe in me. My mom didn't either. My dad didn't think I could do it. I don't know if he was trying to, you know, push me into it because he didn't want me to back out of it. I don't know if he was trying to do reverse psychology or whatever, but he said he didn't think I could do it. And that crushed me. I ended up joining the Marines, and both my parents were there at graduation. I remember my parents being really proud of me, but it didn't feel like it was real. Like, I liked the attention that I got, but it doesn't take away the fact that they said they didn't believe in me. Those are just two experiences I had growing up. I know, you know, from my recovery group, I know there's a lot of other men that have similar experiences, or other experiences, being sexually assaulted, being manipulated, you know, being lied to, being neglected, wide host of reasons that caused trauma in their lives, and that led to an addiction. The group that I'm a part of deals focusedly with sexual addiction and betrayal trauma for the spouses. The program is called Moroni. I'm gonna put a link down in the description so that you guys can go to it, because there's a lot that goes into recovery. Like I said, recovery is not sobriety. Sobriety is just the amount of time you've had not participating in your addiction. Recovery is hard, but it is so worth it. I wouldn't trade any of the experiences I had growing up, because they made me who I am today. Well, they helped shape me into who I am today, but I chose to be this person. You know, I'm responsible for my actions. I'm responsible for staying in my addiction as long as I did. At 10, I don't think I was responsible for starting in my addiction. That's what I was led to, conditioned to go to, was to look at pornography and masturbate. That was what I was conditioned to do in my family. But it came to a point where I was responsible for my actions, for being responsible. I'm responsible for the pain I've caused my wife, the pain I've caused friends and family. That's on me, not my parents, not my family. You're responsible for your recovery, for your sobriety. It's not easy, but it's doable. I know it is, because I'm living it. And like, I wouldn't trade a single day from this past year. Yeah, I wouldn't trade a single day of the relationship that I have with my wife for my addiction. Nothing can compare to the relationship I have with my wife, the relationship I have with my God, and the relationship I have with myself. I really enjoyed this video. It's a good one. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Share the video if you want. Like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. This channel is not for me. It's for everyone. It's for all of you, and I want to help as many people as possible. That's what God has told me to do with this channel, so please share. Love you guys. Bye.
You